Okay, so someone wanted me to more clearly explain the whole Electoral College thing because they're like, that it makes no sense. I'm trying not to have any boo-boo-blas here. Anyway, this is it. The Electoral College exists because of slavery. Because of slavery. Okay. The 3/5 compromise is part of the Electoral College. So you've got all these southern states who have, for each person, a vote and 3/5. How did that come about? Around the time Lincoln was being elected, there are lots of white folk up north, and the Mason-Dixon line down, there were whites, but there were more slaves than whites. Say there were like 4 million whites and like 6 million slaves. So they said, this will not be a fair election because we take care of these beings, because remember, not human. Remember that. 3/5 says you are 3/5 human, which means that, that citizen thing and we the people. In order to be a citizen, you have to be a people. If you're not considered a people, then you're not a citizen. So anyway. So to this day, the South benefits from slavery and the 3/5 compromise. So that is why we can have a popular vote, which, going back to Gore and W, Gore won the popular vote. It's very interesting. But who wins? The Electoral College decides who wins. Now, what does that have to do with Kamala? What does that have to do with Obama? Shouldn't that have been fixed? Shouldn't that have been fixed between 2008 and 2016? And voting rights. I talked about this the last time when, what was it? President Johnson turned around and handed, Martin Luther King a pen, Not much real talk going on there except this. He said to him, well, we're going to sign this Voting Rights Act. Remember, act. It's not a law. It's an act. We're going to sign this act. But he said to Martin Luther King, listen, we're going to sign it and it'll be in effect till 1982. From 1965 to 1982. And by 1982, he said, I'm sure the Southern Democrats will have progressed. The Southern Democrats will have progressed to the point where they won't mind a little Negro voting. What happened in 1982? President Reagan signed it for another 25 years. 2007. What happened in 2007? W signed the act for another 25 years, which means it would be reviewed again in 2032. But we had a black president. Somehow we lost the vote. Oh yeah, that's right, because we're a race-neutral society. So the votes of these people doesn't really matter. And now that we have all these immigrants, now the big thing is we can't let them vote because they aren't part of our society. So, interesting. So now these new immigrants, they're not going to be allowed to vote either. What was really, 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 really interesting about all of this was back when I was first getting out of school and finishing up my PhD at Rutgers University, there was a study done that said that in 2004 and definitely 2010, they were a little bit ahead of the time, but the European majority in America would be part of the minority. So that's why you saw all this race-neutral stuff going. Why? Because the European majority, that is as of today, because the Asians and Latinos make up a large part of the country, okay, statistically, and as far as the count of human beings is concerned. And the problem is this: it's almost like we'd be revisiting the 80s and South Africa, where the minority whites ruled everyone else. So that America doesn't become that, they've got to figure out a way to erase that. Now you know why the Ashkenaz family came after me. Now you know why they were angry that my family wasn't enslaved and that my great-great-grandfather who came here in the 1870s was able to buy properties. And we've had properties in our family since the 1870s in a very prestigious area of the country. Bothered the Ashkenaz, the sons and daughters of Gomer. All right. Choose your poison.